Garcia a Uganda y que necesitan por ahí 2 semanas para finalizar los trámites. Bueno, desde este entonces, Uganda ya dijo que no están de acuerdo en recibirlo, entonces cambiaron de Uganda a Eswatini, otro país en África, pero de todos modos, lo que se hizo claro en esta audiencia es que durante estas 5 semanas y media no han hecho absolutamente nada. Es muy obvio que el propósito de detener al señor Abrego García en este momento no es por fines de inmigración, es porque quieren detenerlo pendiente su juicio criminal en enero. Pero eso no es permitido. El juez del juicio criminal ya ordenó su liberación bajo condiciones y no pueden utilizar la detención migratoria, el sistema migratorio, para conseguir lo que no pudieron conseguir ante la Corte Criminal en Tennessee. Kilmar Abrego García ha ha firmado un papel indicado que está dispuesto de ser deportado en este momento a Costa Rica. No es lo que quiere, no es justo, no es correcto, pero él está dispuesto de aceptarlo. ¿Por qué? Porque Costa Rica ya le ofreció promesas concretas de que él puede acoger del estatus de refugiado en aquel país y que no lo van a volver a deportar a El Salvador, cosa que para él realmente es su prioridad, que no lo vuelven a mandar a donde fue torturado anteriormente ya una vez este año. Entonces, ¿por qué el gobierno no lo está mandando? ¿Por qué no está en Costa Rica hoy? ¿Por qué no lo han mandado a Costa Rica? No hubo respuestas a esta pregunta. Pero la implicación obvia es que quieren utilizar la selección del país nuevamente para castigarlo por reivindicar sus derechos constitucionales. Eso no es permitido. Ahora, la jueza le dio al gobierno 2 días para someter cualquier otra evidencia que tienen en este caso, y va a haber una audiencia final en este caso el viernes, en el cual vamos a pedir a la jueza que ordene su liberación inmediata. Entonces, pues, les esperamos aquí el viernes. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Lydia Walter Rodriguez, and I'm the Chief of Organizing and Leadership. And as we continue to follow Kilmar's case, it is so important that we understand that every step and every single thing that happens in this case will define us as a nation. Our next generations are watching us right now, but all of us should be watching at home as well, because we are fighting for Kilmar, but we are also fighting for democracy. This political persecution that continues to happen to Kilmar, his wife Jennifer, and their family is an example to what could happen to any one of us. And I want to also uplift the words of his wife Jennifer, who could not be here today. She wants to give so much gratitude to all who have been fighting since day one for Kilmar and her family, and for all of those who continue to be in detention. She gives so much gratitude and love because through your actions and through our collective fight, we are continuing to keep the promise we made to Kilmar when he was unjustly detained, abducted, and separated from his family once again on August 25th in Baltimore. Mi nombre es Lidia Walter Rodríguez y soy la encargada de organizar y liderazgo con CASA. Es sumamente importante que continuemos a ver este caso, porque ahorita mismo este caso y cada cosa que pasa contra la familia de Kilmar y su familia nos va a definir como una nación. No solamente estamos luchando por una persona, sino estamos luchando por la democracia de este país. Nuestras próximas generaciones nos están viendo. Y nosotros mismos en casa debemos continuar a escuchar cercanamente qué pasa en este caso. Porque este tipo de acoso político nos puede pasar a nosotros mismos y a ti también y a tu familia. Y quiero alzar de nuevo la voz y las palabras de Jennifer, que no pudo estar aquí el día de hoy. La esposa de Kilmar nos dice que les da tanta gratitud a todas las personas que han luchado día a día, alzado la voz y estado presente desde el primer día para luchar por Kilmar, y todas las personas que siguen siendo detenidas por esta administración. Ella nos dice que aprecia todas nuestras acciones, pero que tenemos que entender que esas acciones están cumpliendo la promesa que le dimos a Kilmar el 25 de agosto, cuando de nuevo fue detenido y separado de sus hijos y su familia.
Simon,
Yeah.
help me understand this. They said in court that the African country was the only one on this table. However, I believe you have filed a document showing a document from Costa Rica, perhaps the government filed it, saying that they would accept him.
Right.
And that they would not send him to El Salvador.
Mhm.
Can you explain that? It makes no sense.
I can't. It makes no sense. You're correct. It makes no sense. There's a country that has expressed its willingness to accept him. It's a country that has guaranteed that it will not send him on to El Salvador. He has signed a document expressing his acceptance of being sent to that country. Why hasn't he been sent there? You're right. It makes no sense.
Can I follow up on that question for all the regular people who don't understand this, and the judge that she herself didn't? Why? How? What can she do in terms of this? If she made it, she was clearly frustrated. The government either was unwilling or unable to answer her questions. If she has evidence that Costa Rica said, sure, we'll take them, can she order, okay, you can't send them anywhere but there? Because what's to prevent him from being sent there later?
Well, right now what's on the table is whether he can remain detained by ICE while they're doing nothing at all, right? Or whether, because the only constitutionally permissible purpose for ICE detention is to effectuate a removal, if no removal is being effectuated, right, if the government has essentially chosen not to, right, the government is choosing not to remove him right now. And so therefore, our contention is he can't be detained any longer. And that's what the judge is going to be asked to decide on Friday.
So she's not allowed to say, you're not talking to this country, you can send them there. She has no jurisdiction over that.
That's certainly a claim raised in the case that the statute allows him to designate a country of removal. And there's only certain exceptions, and none of those exceptions really apply on the face of this case. But what the judge made clear today that she thinks is now ripe for decision is the claim regarding his ICE detention. She's not yet ready to decide claims around removal, but those are really two separate issues, right? One is he going to be removed? What process is he due before he's going to be removed? Where is he going to be removed? How is he going to be removed? But another question is just, can ICE continue to lock him up while this is all being figured out? And that latter question is the question that she's going to decide on Friday.
Simon, has Mr. Abrego expressed a formal fear of removal to Eswatini?
He has, yes.
Just a quick clarification, in terms of when you ask for a room from the bench Friday, would that be for him to come home here in Maryland?
To be released from ICE custody on the conditions that were already imposed by the Middle District of Tennessee, which do include home confinement.
That'd be right here in Maryland?
Yes.
Why do you think the government's not trying to effectuate its removal right now?
I think they like the headline of Eswatini better than they like the headline of Costa Rica. I mean, it's quite clear that they're handling this case in a political manner in order to punish him and also, deter other people from standing up for their rights. It's been clear from the beginning that that's all that's happening here. I think the statements of Erez Raveni, the whistleblower statements also make that very clear. That's not permissible, right? That's what the criminal system is for, right? If they think he needs to be punished for some crime that they allege that he commit, take that to the Middle District of Tennessee. You cannot use the immigration process to try to accomplish what you weren't allowed to accomplish by the criminal judge.
But why aren't they taking steps to remove Eswatini? It seems that there's not being any steps taken, any evidence we can see, right?
You can ask them that. I mean, we can hypothesize maybe that in fact they're not trying to remove him at all. They just want to keep him locked up. That's one certainly hypothesis that one could have. Maybe Eswatini actually never agreed, just like Uganda never agreed. I don't know. That's what they're going to have to answer. They're going to have to provide evidence on Wednesday and answer in court on Friday. We're going to find out.
To be clear on that, she ordered that they have witnesses come in with the information to take the stand under oath and detail what's going on?
That's right. She ordered that they identify the witness by Thursday and that the witness be in court on Friday.
May I ask, and I'm sorry again if this is couldn't help but notice he wasn't here, and I thought the same judge said he must stay within 50 miles of his courthouse.
200 miles.
Oh, within 200. Okay,
Right.
so that place is just shy.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm sorry about that. Thanks.
You mentioned his parole being active until June of 2026. Can you clarify the connection between his parole and deportation?
Yeah, I mean, when the government brought him back, when they finally, after so many months of stalling, when they finally obeyed the unanimous order of the Supreme Court to bring him back to the United States, they granted him what's called parole, which is essentially a legal status document, and they granted it for 1 year. Now, the government can grant parole at its discretion, and it can revoke parole at its discretion, but for whatever reason, they haven't yet. So as we speak, he's currently on a valid grant of parole, which means he's actually legally authorized to be in the United States through the beginning of June of 2026.
¿Qué evidencias tienen de que el gobierno actúe de manera vengativa?
El hecho de que no lo quieren deportar a un país que ya le ofreció estatus de refugiado, que ya le garantizó que no lo va a volver a deportar a El Salvador, que ha aceptado cientos de personas de terceros países. Estados Unidos ya ha deportado cientos de personas a Costa Rica, de todos los países del mundo. Ha deportado rusos, africanos, vietnamitas, gente de otros países de América Latina. Y en vez de haberlo deportado ya a Costa Rica, están peleando para poder deportarlo al otro lado del mar Atlántico. Y la jueza preguntó por qué y no tuvieron respuesta. Entonces, la implicación obvia es que lo están utilizando para castigarlo por haber reivindicado sus derechos constitucionales.
I have one more question, and Lydia, you may be the one, or you may both be the ones to answer it. You said clearly the world, the country is watching this case, but you said this could happen to any one of us. How many other people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia are undergoing the same type of process concerning ICE and deportation? He can't be the only one.
Yeah, I mean, there have been well-publicized cases of third-country deportation flights to South Sudan, to Ghana. There have now been 2 flights to Eswatini, and the conditions that people are reporting are really horrible. But, for all of the cases of third-country deportation flights to Africa that have been in the news, there are hundreds upon hundreds of Central Americans being deported to Mexico every week. And these are people, again, who won their immigration cases, won an order of protection from removal, who've been living, in this country for years and years with an order of supervision, legal permission to be in the United States, a legal work authorization that they've renewed over and over again, just like Mr. Abrego Garcia. And they're being deported to Mexico with no legal status in Mexico, right? So they then run the risk that Mexico is going to, any day, redeport them to the countries that they'd already won protection from. This is happening with great, great frequency these days.
Thank you.
But again, the fact that instead of trying to deport him to Mexico, like they've done with hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of Salvadorans, they're trying to deport him across the Atlantic Ocean, is just further evidence of the fact that this case is being handled in a political and punitive manner instead of in the ordinary course. All right, thanks very much.
Whichever high Ulery.
Yes.
California, which is like